YouTube has changed the world, man.
Yeah, it's a wonderful learning tool.
Yeah, I use it so much for music. It's just incredible.
Do you? How do you use it for, like?
Oh, there's just so many guys on there giving
Oh, you get it for learning. Yeah.
music theory, whatever. You want to learn how to play the piano. If you had the time and the passion, you could learn.
Okay, nice. And there's so many great examples of that. My understanding is that the music industry is heavily using AI now for composition and for editing and yeah, it's really interesting. I'm interested in how technology is affecting different industries, and I heard that about the music industry.
There's a guy by the name of Rick Viejo. He's a producer out in California. He's actually from the Rochester area. About my age, graduated from Fairport. He's one of the top producers now. He's got some great stuff online.
Yeah.
About that and construction stuff too. He talks a lot about that.
All right, so let's review the forehand. We were talking about having a good base in your legs. It's tricky because you want to think about what you're doing upstairs here, and at the same time try to expand your hips. Try to abduct. Never adduct your hips, and then sometimes you over rotate, and then so your whole body is oriented, suboptimally. Come back to the middle. Nice. You just play. You can play anywhere you want. Yeah, when you hear that sound, and it's wonderful, it means you got a good whip, and it means the ball, basically it's like a measure of spin rate. So anytime you hear that sound, it's fantastic. Nice. Yeah, you're nice, good job. Also, just one note, when you land, you want to make sure you land, and I think you're doing that, slightly plantar flexed so your heels aren't dug into the ground. Don't land flat-footed. Land with a slight angle in your ankles. Slightly, yeah, just slightly there so you can be on the balls of your feet to change direction. Good. The back straight. Yeah, so that one, it was a little weaker because you came to the ball, and at the last moment you went kind of extreme vertically, and it just kind of spun out on you. It didn't go as deep or as powerfully. Nice. Come back to center. Nice. And just give you a backhand. Just do it very softly. You don't have to like stress your shoulder. And then change grip or don't change grip, and then move to. That's great. Great forehand. Nice. Perfect sound. Have a shorter one, you can step in, but yeah, you could do that, but I would maybe try stepping in, and then you can add the hips from a closed position. You can either go like this, which is more traditional, or you can actually leave the ground and rotate with both feet leaving the ground. Yeah, don't be afraid to do that. That's an option from a shorter ball here. Good. That was a little close. And make sure when you're moving back, ultimately you want to get that extra coil because you want to use your obliques, your external and internal obliques, your core strongly in the shot. Come on, more power. Yeah, don't hold back. Up. If you like that, you can do that.
I like that, yeah.
You can.
Better than going up there open.
You can. If it's farther away, you're gonna have to step into it. So if it's not that far away, you can definitely go into that mode. But when it's a little farther away, you're gonna have to take that last step to close the distance with your front foot. So you're gonna have to have it at some point. There is also a front foot hop. I don't know if you learned that. It looks like that. If you know that technique, you can do a front foot hop here to transition forward to the net. Not too high, more power. The spin is great. Just bring it down. It's a little too high, so you're missing it long. The spin is really, really good. So just try to add pace to that spinny shot. Good. So you can have the biggest, baddest forehand in the 60s.
That's the goal.
Good. And then just hope that your shoulder survives many more years. Healthy shoulder. Tennis players, they always want to have a healthy shoulder. Thank God, I've never had a shoulder surgery, but I have many friends in tennis who they have bad shoulder. Yeah, you had the hips. I know. Was it just one hip?
Just one hip.
Yeah. The shoulder. If you, for example, one of my mentors, José Higueras, the famous Spanish coach, he can't really play anymore. He was an amazing player. He was top 10, top 7 in the world. Yeah. He's a really famous Spanish coach. He coached Roger Federer and Michael Chang, and he was with Chang when Chang famously won the French Open. And Jose, he had it so bad, his shoulder. Like imagine, he was so frustrating because he used to play with all, like when he was in his 30s and 40s, he used to play with all the students, and then his shoulder got real bad, and he could barely, lift up, barely serve, and he could barely feed, but he still has a great mind. That can happen. So just, if you can play as you get older, you're blessed, It's great to see someone at your age taking care of your health, looking real strong,
Stretching.
Yep. Mobility.
Yep. That's
nice. Up. Yeah, you can do that. As long as when it's farther away, though, you're going to end up in a situation where you can't go here. You're going to have to step. You're going to have to step with the front. That's all. That looks fine. Looks good. That's the way a lot of players like to do that. You can add a forward transfer here. So when you go up to the shorter ball and you're going to step right to do the semi-open, and then try to go forward with the transfer out of there. No, it's from semi-open. So you go semi-open and don't stay in one place. Try to go forward. You could go forward like that, or you could go forward with both. Reminds me of like the famous Spanish player Carlos Moyá. Yep. He used to do a lot of that. He used to have a lot. Sometimes he would go to net, but he rotated so much, like I was telling you not to do. So he would have so much rotation. And then that's not really optimal to get to the net, but he hit the forehand really well. Yeah, like that one it's a little too high and spinny. For your normal rally shot, try to hit it stronger and lower. You could use that as a change-up, especially if you're going after the other player's backhand. So you could go normal power shot, and then you could play that slower, spinnier one and roll it up high on someone's backhand, especially if you're playing a guy. That would be a really good play if a guy has a slice backhand. If you're playing a lot of guys with one-handers, that extra kicking ball will really do a lot of damage. I would encourage you to try to do that. That was cramped and it looked tight, it looked stiff. Come on, accelerate. That's pretty good. It bounced up high in the back wall. It's a pretty good shot. No, yeah, look like this. The elbow in tight. Try to release. Good job, Joe. Yeah, that's nice. You went here, and you just kept flowing through it. That's good. That's nice. It looks clean. Nice. Good job, good job. You can. You have both options. Don't land on your heels. Yeah, see, you drill very nice. Now, when we were hitting yesterday, sometimes you would over-rotate. Sometimes when you're getting pushed back, you would end up maybe either adducted or over-rotated. So just be aware of that. That seems to be, that's a common issue, like especially going back on defense. A lot of players will get sort of tangled up, or they'll get very narrow in their base when they're pushed back in the corner. Just be aware of that. Come on, fast racket. That's nice. Like if you're playing indoors, that's a good indoors ball. If you're playing outdoors on clay, you can go up a little higher, a little more upstairs, a little heavier. Good. Yeah, that one's a little slow, so it might work if the other player has trouble with the high ball, but it could also get, you can also get in trouble. If you play a lot of spin and it just sits up and it's not fast enough or it's not deep enough, some good players will just step in and they'll hurt you. So just be careful with that. Nice. Don't land on your heels. Stay ready here, yeah. Don't be heelsy. That's great. That's a nice looking stroke. I think you'll like that one on video too. Nice, good job. Come on. Okay. It's a little stiff there, a little tight. Yeah. There was some tension through the distal joints here. Try to stay really try to stay loose, yeah. Like you're skipping a rock, you know. It's a really cool feeling when it starts to click. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. You know, when you're playing a match and if there's tension, if there's pressure, that can manifest right in those joints getting tighter, or if you try to overhit, a lot of players when they want to hit harder, they tighten right through the distal joints here. So just be aware of that situationally it can just get tighter. A good way to practice that is like do a lot of shadow swings, do a lot of loosening like that. Like if you're waiting to return serve, or if you notice that you're feeling a little tense, you get the stress is rising maybe. Gotta stay whippy. Last couple. Yeah. Good. Nice. Good windshield wiper. This one's not powerful enough. Like you won't do much damage with that. You gotta really accelerate. Let the racket head whip through. Good. Nice. Good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, nice spin. Too short. Nice, good wide base. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Good. This is really nice. You're very relaxed. You have that finish where the elbow, the forearm is close to your rib cage here. Nice. That shows you're very relaxed. You go out and then you reel it back in. You go out and reel it back in. I like that.
Getting that side spacing is
right. So yeah, yesterday we were talking about how you don't want to receive the ball like you don't want to line up with the ball like we were saying in other sports like basketball, baseball. You receive the ball straight up. So in this case, you want to be staggered. You want to have an offset in how you receive the ball. That's so important. I think just visually, I think you made a great point that a lot of players try to probably line up from maybe they learned that in other sports to get behind the ball. you know. Yeah, like you're playing shortstop, the ball's coming, you're going to receive the ball.
And you go towards it also. That's the other thing where here you're turning and waving.
Well, I mean, sometimes in baseball, like if there's a fly, you go back. Sure. You go back first to catch your football. But yeah, you're receiving a football. What do? You try to be here. You wouldn't want to be offset. But in tennis, that's a great. I mean, it's a really good point. You want to be offset. Nice. Yes, very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is very spinny. I'm sure I didn't see it, but I'm sure it had a nice high.
Too.
Yeah, you can see it.
It was a little looser.
Nice. We also talked about keeping the hands away. So in the beginning, trying to do this push out. This is kind of like doing a push up in midair here. And it's also a tricep extension. It's basically as you start the backswing, you're coiling and extending. You see this subtle extension in at my elbow joint. Rather, if you stay flexed here, not all the time, but like we were talking about Fritz and some other forehands there are many forehands that start like this, but as they go back, they go out. But with a lot of people, when they start like this, they end up going around their body here. So that's a danger.
If I start like this, I don't go out. So I'm trying to.
Right. So yeah, I think I tend to teach this push out because it's just easier to like manage in your brain. You're like, oh, I'm going to get this out in the beginning, my hands away, and I'm going to try to keep my hands on the right side of my body, and because from here the swing often takes a turn inside. The swing comes to the inside, and if you can think about swinging to the outside, getting your hand to the outside, that will help the compact nature of the backswing, and it's really good for the stroke. And you're doing that really nicely. There are examples of even Nadal start here and then. Good. Good space. Good space. I like it. Yeah, good job offsetting there. Like it was coming at you and you did a nice offset. At the end, try not to have any extra loss of balance. At the end, just try to be really stabilize yourself. Stability is the key. You want stability pre-shot, so as you set up, you obviously want stability, but then people sometimes don't think about, at post-shot, you want to also be very stable, and that facilitates your recovery. Nice, good job. Yeah, good hip rotation. Good. The more you can show me the print on your shirt, that indicates to me you're using more of the trunk rotators. Primarily the obliques. The obliques are really powerful here in terms of trunk rotators. Yeah, the print there. Good job, good job. People always talk about using the hips in the kinetic chain, but I think people don't talk as much about the abdominal musculature and how active it is. On the serve too, the abdominal musculature, the obliques are very active in terms of they help your shoulders rotate down and up. So I just think that's an under narrated story in tennis, the strong core muscles, the active core muscles. Good. Stay relaxed. Stay whippy. Okay, too high. Don't land on your heels. Yeah, that's more. Yeah. If you land on your heels, it's just not as optimal. Good attack shot. You lowered the trajectory well. You do a good job tracking. I like the way you keep your head still through here. You're keeping your eyes locked in here through the impact, and then when the ball's gone, you look up That's nice because a lot of players when they're working on this rotation, they'll rotate their
You had a
their
video,
head too.
chin to chin.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I love that.
And that keeps your head still too.
It's that's the whole point. The whole point is underneath your neck, your trunk is rotating, but your head is staying still. So you have to use the muscles of your neck to keep your head locked in. And that's really good for the control of the shot. Because if you're teaching kids to rotate, a lot of times they just, you know, it's normal. They start rotating the entire spine, you know, the whole enchilada. And then keep the upper spine here, the lower spine's doing a little more rotation. And then the trunk, the shoulders are rotating. Nice. Fast track it. Don't guide it. Whip it. Yeah. Very nice. There you go. Very good. Good job, Joe. Show me your back. Coil it up. Don't land on your heels. Stay whippy. Last couple.
Oh yeah.
I have a really nice sound.
It's easy power.
Really nice sound there. Good energy on that ball.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Those are heavier. Just from the looseness.
Good. And the coil. Don't forget the coil. The trunk. Good, strong loading in the legs, coiling in the trunk, leg, trunk, hips, and then you have the abdominals, so all of those factors, you know.
We'll close that.
And fast track it, come on. Come on. Yes, good heavy ball. Yeah, play a match and use that against someone's backhand. You're gonna earn yourself some short balls. Easy to set up attacks off of that. If you run over here and play inside out, it's a really good play. That heavy ball inside out, attacking someone's backhand. In Spain, they say hit over the backhand. If you can bounce the ball over the backhand, it's really good. Good. Very nice. Stay whippy. Fast racket. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Okay, stay loose. Nice. Okay, nice. Good job.
Good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good work.
So we can review the backhand. I know you don't. I don't want you to strain yourself, but we can maybe review the details.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Did you think about? I'm happy to look at the serve. Did you think? Did you think about slice versus topspin and whether?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on
What were your thoughts about it?
I'd love to be able to do what we worked on yesterday,
Yeah.
but it's going to be a work in progress.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty significant. It's one thing to do it in. It's also one thing to do it in practice, and it's another thing to commit to it in a match. Well, you've done a fantastic job with that forehand.
Oh, thank you. Really. I mean, when I came back to my tournaments in Florida, you know, we did a podcast with someone about secrets of Spanish tennis before. And I didn't realize two things. I don't know why. I didn't know you went to Cornell, and I didn't know you were here. I was, man, I gotta check this out.
The
And I've never seen
in the 60s and over divisions, I mean, I think the way you're hitting the forehand is pretty special. and there may be some other guys who are staying fit like you, but it's basically you're hitting a next generation forehand in that division, you know, which is very cool. You kind of upgrade your technique, and then that gives you a little bit of the fountain of youth.
Yeah, so I changed, started dropping balls, shadowing different, because I've always done shadow. I actually was a fan of Great Base until I found you.
So Great Base is, I find so interesting. I really have a lot of respect for Steve Smith,
Yeah.
because he's a real student of the game.
And he loves the game, his passion.
He loves the history of the game. I enjoy his podcast, and I think he has a lot of knowledge. I just, you know, I don't agree with the teaching approach. It's very traditional, and it's very locked. It's very rigid. So there's this paradox with Steve Smith. I really appreciate like his contribution to the game, and he takes that approach as well, like that. I mean, I can actually argue the positives and negatives of that, because when coaches do that, I mean, it's not really germane to what, you know, the teaching aspect, but they actually devalue the. For coaches who are trying to make a good living for their family, that can actually devalue the price of lessons for coaches. And what I would like to see is coaches being paid more commensurate with their knowledge and the value. Coaching provides a really important service, especially it's like teachers. You know, a lot of teachers aren't paid enough either. You know, so. Yeah, for example, he has a very similar philosophy as the wrestling world. I'm a wrestling parent. My daughter is a wrestler, and there's many wrestlers who still don't charge for the lessons, give away their lessons. And so if you want to be a wrestling coach, you actually have to have like 3 jobs, and you can't even support your family. So that's where that philosophy kind of takes you. I'll give you another example. I volunteer on the ambulance. I'm an EMT for my local town ambulance, yeah, I believe in that service, you know, and in my opinion, EMS workers, they don't get paid nearly what's fair for what they do. You know, they're saving lives, they're working out in the field, and a lot of the guys that I work with on the ambulance, they might have 2 jobs or 3 jobs, and they don't get paid nearly the same amount as the fire department or the police department guys. But those three services are essential for any town to run. You know, but my point is, historically in EMS used to be almost all volunteer as compared to police and fire. Police and fire are usually under the umbrella of the town, and EMS used just you know, coincidentally, it started kind of like as a volunteer effort, but now even today, there's a big struggle in EMS to get paid, because they have a history of, you know, giving away people doing it for low cost or no cost. Anyway, Steve Smith, he's a great dude. I just wish he would. Like Steve Smith, just sort of like revamping the curriculum and teaching you know, stuff that you see would be awesome, you know, all that knowledge. All right, so let's take a look. We talked about a little more grip, you know. Nice. Normally I would try to build your like maximum acceleration, but because your shoulders are a little sore, just go easy. And just try to hit the checkpoint, stay loose and whippy. One of the big things we talked about is how sometimes your backswing here is ultra compact. You get more power by you get more lag back here.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
More momentum.
And that should also be relatively loose. So you want that racket head to whip through. You don't want to be too tight through these. Through the muscles that run through these joints. Come back to the center. Occasional forehand. We talked about how it's possible to merge the grips just in your unique situation because you have semi-Western forehand and a one-handed backhand. It may be possible to merge the grips. It's not a necessity, but it does provide some advantages, especially on return to serve, where you don't have to fumble with changing grips. So that's an option. You don't have to do it that way, but it's something that helped me a lot.
It makes a difference when you get back, because it's just so much more easy momentum.
It should be.
Compared to here.
It should be. You're using the trunk muscles more, and then you're going to create more lag in the racket head as it whips through. Most of the best one-handers in the world, you see this extreme stance. It's a very, very close stance, which is a little bit out of step with what the modern game is a lot of open stance, but the one-handers, just that particular shot, that's very close. Nice. Try to let that racket tip go all the way where it's pointing to the back wall. Like just let it ride all the way through. Stay loose. Yeah, that's nice. That's really good, Joe.
Oh yeah.
So the basic structure is there. It's a nice stroke.
Yeah.
It's a nice stroke.
That didn't feel like I was muscling it at all. It didn't feel mechanical.
You can listen for the sound as well. Nice. You can feel a nice stretch in your chest. That's always a good reminder for me. I try to feel stretch all the way through from my shoulder through both pectoral muscles and into this shoulder. So a double stretch. This hand is low. This hand is high.
Okay.
I don't know if you caught it, but I have a really good, just a simple one-handed backhand video that we did a little bit while back.
Coming up on that toe.
Yeah, I really believe in the 3 checkpoints here. You have this is one of the checkpoints. This is the other one, and then you have this stretch here. So you have like this.
So you actually come up and touch with the toe.
Yes, the heel comes up, and then if you're moving to the side, then you would go here, and come around. But if you're in the center, it's just kind of like that.
Okay. Cool.
You know, but those 3 checkpoints, that concept, I really like that trinity there. Good job. Nice. Don't land on your heels. Good. Nice. Just freeze at the end. Ready? And freeze. Yeah, just let this go. This can fit. A lot of pros will let this fan outward. Sometimes it's called the French flare.
Okay.
Just try to let everything here.
Yeah. That's the key right there for me.
There's so many. There's like dozens of muscles in here that control the fingers and the wrist, and try to stay less locked in there. You got to squeeze the grip, but not. That's the tricky part. You want to maintain that grip, but you have to try not to tighten the joint, the muscles that cross this joint, and then probably want to have a little bit of play in the wrist.
How loose do you want the actual hand knot?
Yeah, that's such a common question. You know, it's enough not to let it fly out of your hand. Like that's the key. You don't want to be too tight on that thing. But I'm saying that some of the muscles cross over. Like some of the muscles that you use for your fingers here can also be used for the forearm, and so it's a little complicated. You definitely want to have the fingers gripping, but you want to try not to. It's hard to be tight here and then also loose up through here. Nice. Stay with me. Really show me your back. It's super critical. This is where the chin comes in, chin on the shoulder, like you mentioned. On the other side now. Be careful not to block your left eye. You want to make sure both eyes, you're looking at the ball binocularly with both eyes tracking the ball, because the eyes are meant to work as a team.
Yeah. Cool.
All the research supports that.
Oh, that was better.
Nice.
Is it all right to come around like that? It seems like just
yeah,
natural
and
for me.
yeah, and a lot of modern one-handers do that. I would definitely encourage you to coil big
Yep.
and let this release more than you can rotate and open more. Even here, if I
Yeah.
and Wawrinka is probably the most famous example that he does that. He has the most rotation of anybody. So he actually gets his hips rotating and his trunks opening. So in the old days, you know, if you look at some of your tennis magazine articles, everybody taught the backhand, where you basically keep your chest facing that wall, and that's radically changed. Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to limit your power. Let the hips and trunk rotate. Obviously, it's possible to. That's a common mistake too. Some players will fly open, but getting that right amount of rotation is really key to maximizing the power on the one-hander. That's really good. I really like your impact point. You're not jammed at all. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like on my forehand, I have to think more consciously about. I have to remind myself of the space. And on my backhand, I don't find myself really thinking about it that much. I mean, occasionally I'll make sure that I'm out here, but it's not as much of an issue. For me personally, it's more of an issue on my forehand. Okay, accelerate underneath. We talked yesterday about training with a high string as a helper, just as a guideline. I think that's a really valuable. Make your own, or you can just order one called the Air Zone. And just try to practice on. Do ball machine with the string. It's a really good air target rather than setting cones on the ground. It's really nice to have an air target, get instant feedback about your swing path, and you know. Nice. Yeah. So basically, how I would describe your backhand right now is it's functionally really good, but it's like a practice one-handed backhand, and you've admitted that you don't really play with it. So that's kind of an interesting spot to be in. I'm very familiar with that place. It's like a practice one-handed back. It's like a practice topspin backhand. So right, you have to decide whether you're really going to commit to like doing it in points. That is tough. Tough decision to make. Don't go too high up. Don't chunk up too much on the handle. Make sure your pinky's near the bottom, just so you don't reduce the length of the lever. More topspin. Nice. Yeah, a lot more racket speed there. Let it ride. There, let the racket fly through. That's it. Sometimes in Spain they say throw the racket forward. Don't guide it too much. Let the tip of the racket fly through there. Build up that angular momentum, angular velocity. Nice. Nice. Come on. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Come on. Beauty. Fast racket. Let the tip whippy. Yeah, let it go. You don't have to use too much muscles. How's the grip feel? Is it a little different?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's not moving.
Yeah. Yeah, so that looks Eastern. I think you're Eastern. Yeah, that's Eastern. That's a traditional Eastern. They're good. Yeah, you don't have that. I go, then you have a subtle change. If you're Eastern here, then that would mean your forehand would have to go Western. Like if you're here, that means your forehand is going to be Western. If you're, the only way you can do the semi is if you go there, but that's pretty tough to get.
So if I was to go Eastern,
if you went Eastern there, then you would if you wanted to merge the grips, you would be pretty close to Western, and it depends on how much of an iconoclast you want to be. If you're comfortable being a maverick and playing Western, you don't see many guys your age playing Western. That's kind of cool. Like what is the grip that you were doing before? about a little
Like
less.
how long ago? This.
Yeah, just here
Oh,
with us.
Semi-Western.
It's pretty close, huh?
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're close. I mean, you're close. So you can play with it and find.
Yeah.
You know. Like I think when I did that years ago, I was a little more Western on my forehand actually, and I decided
that
that
far,
I was probably here, and I decided that I like this for my backhand to get a little more semi. I'm just saying for me personally, and so I decided to go there with my. I basically shifted my forehand grip a little more conservative.
Yeah.
You know, and that felt I was able to work it out. You can work, like I said, if you like Western, you could. I could have done that too. I could have stayed Western and hit my backhand Eastern.
Sure. It's not that much of a change.
No, there's small changes, but I decided to go the other way. I tried to go a little more semi on the one-hander, and then I went a little more conservative on the forehand. It's an option.
This doesn't feel, this semi-Western here doesn't feel totally awkward. It feels better than when we first did it.
Right. Now, yeah. I mean, you get a lot of spin with that grip. But I'm saying it looks to me like the configuration that's flourishing for you is the Eastern and extreme semi-Western, almost Western here. So that's what it looks like, but which is okay. Yeah. Everyone's different. It took me a long time to like get my hand behind for the semi-Western one-hander. Okay, that needs to have more spin. You got to bring it down. You got to have that sound. All right, you could do that, and then don't choke up too much on the handle. This has to be whippy. Good. And this one. Good, Joe. And there's nothing wrong with an Eastern one-handed backhand. You just got to commit to doing it. Okay, ready? Yeah, okay, you don't want to be on this side of the handle. You want to be back. You want to be back. You want your palm, the meat of your hand behind. You know, back in here, or here. Yeah. Try not to be on here. That's weaker. You're trying to protect against high ball. Ball's going to come in. You're trying to be strong up here. Yeah. Strong with the palm behind. Then you can brush that ball. You want to try to avoid having to slice a lot of balls up there. Good. I would watch that grip diligently. If you could easily be playing, and you might think you're there, and you might be there, and then the ball's going to be flatter. You're going to lose rotation. So you got to keep checking that. I find it helpful just to make a little mark, like I'll take a pen and I'll just so that I can glance at it and just see that you know that I'm in the area. That looks good. That's nice. Try to get the pinky a little lower. Yeah. Okay. Nice. What we got here? Yeah, you can adjust it. Good spin. Yeah, I love how you open there. You open and square it up. Definitely do that. That was nice. Nice. Good job. Accelerate. Great sound there. Great spin. Bring that trunk rotation. Thoracic rotation. You want to, when you take it back, take it back, do the backswing. You're good. That's nice. Good. Do the take back. Yeah, I'd like this. I want to see the racket on this side of your body. I don't want to see the racket on this side of your body. Right. If you had a two-hander, it'd be different. The two-handers, you'd like to see the racket. Right, it's really super compact. It's one of the advantages of a two-hander. you see the compact nature, and they can still hit the ball just as hard as us one-handers, and we have to take the more of that loop. That is a disadvantage of the one-hander, you know. One of the reasons why the two-hander is so good on the return. You have more stability. You have a little more stability because you have both arms stabilizing the racket, and then you can take basically full cuts from a compact swing. Whereas we have to go like that. We need more time to take our full swing. That's very nice. I could live with that. You know, I could live with that. But if you don't use it, you know, as they say. If you don't use it, you lose it, you know. Too flat, don't lose the spin. As soon as I see the rotation go down, two things pop in my head. Either you were taught, you were tight, or the grip, if the grip goes from a little back on this panel to a little front on this panel, that could easily reduce your spin rate. Okay, nice. Let it whip. That was really nice. You were really flowing there. That was really fluid, and the racket head came through nicely. Like that would be the optimal.
The trunk rotation helps you not muscle that because you got that.
It's a kinetic chain. Yeah, the hips are pulling the racket through. The hips are going to initiate. The hips and trunk are going to whip that racket head around. That's right. Just like similar to the forehand. Good job, Joe.
That's nice.
Always think topspin. Try not to have the old timer flat backhand. You know, there's a lot of amazing players, guys. I love watching like Lendl and you know, even McEnroe had great backhands. They're very more or less flatter backhands. Becker is another one. Great one-handed backhand. Edberg, another one. Amazing one-handed backhand. But not much topspin. So with that grip structure and more coil and whip, you can start to get what Wawrinka innovated. He added more hip rotation, a little more grip, and it's just a more modern, upgraded, you know, one-handed backhand. So it's not like you're going to switch to a two-hander at this stage, but you'd like to have a little bit more modern one-hander, which means topspin, which means trunk rotation, you know, and it means grip structure. Grip structure is a little. The more you go that way, is the more modern you're getting with the one-hander. That one. Right. On the back part of this panel. This is the top panel, bevel 1.
Yep.
You want that knuckle. That's what I'm looking for.
Right here.
That's right. That ridge. That's right. Nice. Very good. Nice. Come on, whip it through. Full shoulder coil.
Yeah.
Good spin. And you got option here. Right. Like I think you could merge those, or you can just do a traditional grip change. You know. You have really good, your spacing on the backhand's really good by and large, most of the time. Looks great. That's a real positive. Buen día, buenos días. Yeah, you're doing that with one grip. It just looks like there's no indecision. It's pretty clean. That's really beautiful spacing, really nice extension here.
And my ball's never landed in the court and hit the wall.
Yeah.
Before, no.
And then, to me, the real edge is if you could learn to hold that for the return of serve. So as you're waiting, you would sort of, yeah, you'd probably be here, and he'd have this here, and you'd be kind of like this.
Okay.
That way, if someone hits a fast serve here, all you gotta do is unit turn, and you don't have to change.
Right,
You don't have to.
this
You
way
don't have to change nothing. And
that's
so, and I just think that's a huge advantage if you have, because remember, the one-handed backhand is not as optimal as the two-hander. It gives you a little bit leg up on those two-hander guys, and traditional guys who are like trying to shift the grip. You're got it built in. You're ready here. Unit turn. Right. And then yeah, if the grip is merged, then all you have to do is go. If they play to your forehand, you're right there. With a little practice, you can get that. How are you guys? Nice to see you. Back straight. Bravo. Bravo. Bravo, let the racket whip. It has to be, you don't want to sit it up, you want to get depth on it. Okay. That's the only danger of having a slightly more Western forehand grip, is that the ball could be super spinny and it's a little harder to get the depth and the penetration, the pace. That's the only risk. Maybe low balls, you know, if you're a little more Western, you have to really get down and under those low balls. That's another risk. Good looking backhand, Joe. It's a good looking backhand.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, always play with spin. Try to get a nice bounce on it. Nice. That one was weaker. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's going back.
The knuckle came to the front ridge here,
Yeah.
and you want to try to edge over to the back ridge, and the shot was a bit weaker.
Yep.
Good sound. Try not to choke up too much. Try not to lose too much of the length of the racket, just so you have the longer lever. Check the grip. Knuckle on the back part of that panel. Right. Good strength. Good. Nice. Good. Come on. Big coil. Come on. Show me your back. Show me your back. Keep both eyes tracking the ball.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good job.
Oh yeah.
That sounded great. That sounded great.
It's
That had a really nice sound and a great energy.
Yeah.
I'm glad we agreed that looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, that felt good.
Last few.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it whip through. You have to really swing fast, especially the more you go over on that grip, you got to really let it rip, because you're not going to get any help by hitting through it. You're going to scrape the ball more with that grip. You got to really accelerate. Good sound. Lift and extend. Okay, don't get jammed. Great space. Great space. Great shoulder turn.
Yeah, that's the huge
Great
difference.
shoulder turn.
Yeah.
Great job with it. A lot of the top one-handers in the world get that big hip and trunk rotation. Great. Good top spin. One more. Check that grip in the front part or the rear.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
I'm watching you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. I really do want to check out your serve.
Yeah, good. That'd be great. You know, just 5-10 minutes.
No, we have time. Or whatever you'd like. We can work on the serve mechanics. We could do some rallying. Whatever you'd like. Yesterday, no, that boy stays till 9. He stays late. He comes from Albany every week. I coach him for a couple years. He's a good boy. Yeah. He takes a lesson after the group.
So we're planning on coming back around 16th of July.
Yeah, we were talking about that, right? July, because you're going.
We're going to IMG.
The big. Have you been there?
No.
Oh wow. The facility is incredible. Really, it's the most. It's. I think it is much bigger than Rafa Nadal Academy.
Oh, okay.
And Rafa Nadal Academy is very big, very nice.
Yeah, it's very
Facility.
Nice.
IMG, I think, is the greatest facility I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's incredible. Well, maybe the USDA in Orlando, the USDA facility has 100 courts,
Okay.
and they may have more than IMG, but IMG has really amazing.
Not only tennis, they have like
Yeah, yeah. So it's hard to get a good personal attention. So you have an experience. You see this amazing place, and then you can come to me for personal coaching. And here in July, it should be quite beautiful. It's really beautiful here. I think you will enjoy the. Does Andre does he like to swim? Does he like lakes and does he like to swim? We have like really nice lakes and rivers. It's really. On Sundays, we take all the kids to the big pool in Manchester. It's a lot of fun. Andre can join us. Every Sunday we go to the town pool and we have lunch and go shopping, and he can join us for the field trip. It's like a trip, all of the kids. Yeah, I would stay till August 1st. August 1st is our last day.
So we're coming around the 16th or 17th of July.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be here, right? Those days, okay?
Of course. But yeah, if he can stay to August 1st, that will be the end of. That will be 2 weeks to end the 16, and if you can, obviously.
Okay. Before I leave, I would love to hit some balls with you just for 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Just to get the feeling.
Are you guys? When is your flight? Did you?
Tomorrow, we need to leave tomorrow afternoon.
Oh.
Our flight's very Sunday morning.
Okay, so let me know if tomorrow you are busy or if you want to train in the morning before you go. I wasn't sure. I'll have to.
Tomorrow we can train in the morning.
Okay, I'll send you the time, probably 10 or 11 o'clock, if that's okay. Yeah, he's coming at 12, but I can ask him to come early if the boys want. Or can the boys play? Or when do you have to leave for the airport?
Sunday morning.
Oh, you have tomorrow.
Yeah, we have tomorrow.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, nice. Okay, perfect.
Tomorrow until probably 2 in the afternoon, 3.
No, más tarde. Nos quedamos
Because you're.
proceso una hora de aquí a Albany.
Around 4 or 5, probably.
Okay, that's nice. He'll have a full day of training. That's nice. All right, so what's going on here? This is the first serve. Okay, so I would probably work on the power position. Have you checked that out? Have you seen it on?
Yeah.
Go through the first part. And basically, I don't think you're here. What I see is this is coming like in very close to your ear.
Okay.
And if you could lock in here, that'd be awesome. I don't know if you can do it. Do it slowly.
Yeah.
You could do that, or here, but try to keep a giant space, like a
Okay.
giant box here.
All right.
Don't want to be
Yeah.
in there.
Okay.
I don't know if you can do it. If you do it slowly, maybe you can go. You could be here. You could be here. You could be here. You try not to be. You're supinating too. You're supinating here. Try. Do it slowly. Just go through it slowly. Well, do you bring it down, or what do you do?
I've been
What do you do?
kind of doing this.
All right, I don't care how you bring it up.
Yeah.
Really, that is fine. You can do the partial,
Yeah.
the height, and then you get into here and keep this, and now go into your load. Load your legs and try to keep that racket away from here,
Okay.
and load up. And then you're gonna fire your legs, and that's gonna accelerate.
Okay. All right.
But I want to see. I know what's gonna happen. You're gonna go right here.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a giant
Okay.
window here.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Nice. Don't worry about that. That's gonna look really nice. You could also do this. Go ahead. You could do this. Go ahead. Do the beginning. I'm just blocking you. Go. Load up. This is like many pros are. Some pros are lagged here.
Yeah.
Could be here,
Okay.
like Herkats. It could be here, like Sinner. If it's too
still-
much for you,
still
if
get it
it's too
away.
much for you, these are all you can do the more. You can be in here,
Yep.
but not here.
Yeah. Okay. That's huge. Thank you.
Try again.
Yeah.
Go do it slowly. Just give you a feel. Back. Go ahead. Load up. See where I'm pulling you back here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep this away from your head.
Okay.
Now start to jump, and then this is gonna go fast.
All right.
I want
What about just starting here to start with? Or no?
if you like this feeling and it doesn't feel too overwhelming, you can go with this, because I know this is a lot. Like this is.
Yeah. I've tried that leg. I
Okay.
can try it. Let me try it.
It's not essential, but if you're there,
Get out here.
if
That's
you're
huge.
there, that can be really pretty.
Yeah.
Look, you could be here. This can be really pretty.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, and then in terms of shoulder line, your shoulders oftentimes are less than 90. So this, yeah, it's gonna be great. It's like 110 degrees here.
Okay.
That's the other thing. So it's a combination of being somewhere here, and you're gonna turn your back. Do it again slowly. Yeah, a really cool concept is try to look up this. You look at the ball over this shoulder here.
Okay.
If you don't rotate, you can kind of just look at the ball like this.
Yeah.
You actually want to look across your shoulder here.
Yeah. This is huge.
And this has to stay. You have to get the feeling where this hand. Don't be up here. You have to get this.
So you're looking over this on this
Yeah,
side.
you're looking across shoulder.
Okay.
So there's a window here.
Yeah. You videotaping this?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
This would be huge for him.
I hope it comes out good.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm on. So this is very common to set up. To set up here.
Yeah.
It feels comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you actually want to go cross arm.
Okay.
Same on overhead. A lot of people on overhead. And you want to go, you're actually going to spot the ball across arm. It's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That visual, right?
Yeah. Amazing.
You string the racket to Stratton.
At Stratton.
This is Stratton Village, right?
Yeah, and there's a sports center. It's called,
So 15 minutes from here.
yes. There's a sports center. You have to look, can you look for the sports center?
Okay.
Look for sports, Stratton Sports Center. They changed the name. It used to be called the Sports Center or the Tennis Center.
The easy power. I did.
Go
Just did a
ahead,
couple
do
and
it,
I
do it,
liked
do it slowly. Go ahead. You're not gonna serve. Okay, so right now you're 90. You're less than 90. Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah, I feel that stretch here.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff happening with the obliques here.
Yeah.
Like these obliques are gonna contract.
Yeah.
When you,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize, like I think that's a really cool aspect that's sort of not talked about very much. The obliques, the contraction there to get the shoulder over shoulder, it enhances the shoulder over shoulder. And you want to stay sideways. You don't want to front face. You want to actually stay sideways as long as you can. It's really important. Stay sideways through the impact as much as you can. This first serve, right?
Yeah.
Stratton Sports. Really?
I see. Yes. Yes, that looks right. Stratton Sports.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the arm stuff with the arms, power position. Ball location and relationship between the ball and your body. The toss is too much above your body for a power serve. That toss should be, you know, somewhere in this area.
Really, that far?
Like, I'm exaggerating a little,
Yeah.
but I want the ball, and I want you to elevate and get there
All right.
like a slam dunk.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want the ball to be hovering over you here. This is a big power loss.
Yeah.
You're gonna throw that racket forward, and you're gonna jet up there with your legs, propel yourself there.
Okay.
And that's exactly the angle that you want. You want a forward lean here. But what I see is you're hitting a lot of them, your body's vertical.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be vertical at impact. The body should be tilted, the trunk should be tilted forward somewhat because you're throwing the shoulder,
Okay.
you're throwing the shoulder forward.
Yeah.
And the racket should go forward. Yeah, and a little higher. No, out here more. Still too close to you. More forward. Yeah, better. Okay, way better. And then, okay, there's a lot of stuff here, Joe. So I'm sorry, I didn't realize. So when you explode, the explosion is going to come straight in here. I think we'll have all this, so you'll be able to watch it again. The explosion should happen straight down the pipeline here, or straight down the runway here. And what I'm seeing from you is you go, you're sending your energy this way, so that's another thing. Maybe that could be the toss. Try to keep the toss straight here. And even that last one, the toss was still too close to you. So like I want you to chuck it in here. Like don't be like, what's the worst that could happen? You know, you can toss it too far in front, and then I want you to just get the feeling of chasing it. More than that. Okay, better. Yeah, forward.
I'm going over there.
Could be. But okay, another good thing you can also share with your students is on the first serve, when you toss it up, a lot of times we do this innocently as coaches. We say, you know, toss it up and then catch it and practice your toss. You shouldn't be able to catch it. It should be so far away that you can't grab it. So that's a really good, you can remind your students that. Okay. Right, I'm pretty sure, and I don't have a high-speed video running right now, but I'm pretty sure you're not rotating as much as you'd like here. So for this particular serve, you'd really like to see, you want to get that thumb out or thumb down like you're throwing a football. If you notice, this rotation is called internal shoulder rotation. And basically your shoulder, when you go into the acceleration phase, your shoulder externally rotates, maximally. external is like if you ever do bands, external is this way. It's a little confusing at first, but basically you get this full external rotation, and then as you accelerate upward, the shoulder joint is going to internally rotate fast. It's one of the fastest rotations in the human body. So you want to maximize that. Right now, what I see is this. Your shoulder is rotating minimally in terms of internal shoulder rotation. You're getting some internal shoulder rotation, but you're basically going, and you're strong, so you serve it pretty good. You're not getting this movement.
So to do that, come up like this, and then do it.
Right, and you also want to stay. You don't want too much contraction through those distal joints.
Once I'm here,
Basically, as you come through,
that's gonna drop. Okay.
you're coming up, and then this is going to turn outward.
Okay.
You're going to try to be fast. It's not just from the forearm though. It's the whole shoulder.
Okay.
And that's missing also. I think if I film it in slow-mo, you will see that you come pretty straight with your arm rather than the elbow should be high, and this whole thing. You see how whippy my shoulders just. It's the same as this movement. Like this is internal rotation. You ever do that with a band or with a dumbbell? This is 90-90 internal rotation. This is internal rotation. So when you hit a forehand, like I was saying, when you do the wipering action, it's actually the same movement of the shoulder internally. So up here, you want to get this feeling. You can think of the forearm pronating, but because they're connected, a lot of times the pronation triggers the internal shoulder rotation, so they're kind of like linked. Look how high my elbow is.
Yeah.
And this is the prime position. Like if you're flexible, if you're mobile enough, is to get. And I don't want you to hurt yourself, you know. But basically, elbow high, palm facing the opposite wall, at the just like 2 frames post impact, like just post impact, one frame, 2 frame.
Yeah.
And what I see from you is palm down. Again, we can check it on with slow-mo, but you can check it yourself. I think you'll see a lot of this.
A lot of this, yeah. Just staying there.
This is basically a slower action. When you go this way, you're going to get more. You're activating more of the internal rotators.
So that thumb comes out.
Yeah, and it's very similar to throwing a football.
Yeah.
You see it in pitching too.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to work on that.
Yeah.
And I would definitely do like a lot of, start slowly and very gentle shadows. Then you can like take a ball and just kind of, you can come up close to the net and practice. You can practice into the ground. Just be careful because this is you want to keep your shoulder healthy, and it can be more stressful if you're not used to doing that. You know, it can be more stressful. So that's a big one. Yeah. Right, that just what you did there. You can kind of hear the. You do it right. That's a lot of stuff that I mentioned. Yeah. So if I cycle back through it. What's this? Yeah. This is power position. Yeah. In the power position, you want more right. Past 90 degrees. You have a delay here. It's a bit of a lag. It's not like a downward lag, but you have a delay. And then as you I think toss is huge. If you can learn to toss it here, you're going to add a lot of pace because you're going to end up hitting the ball in a more optimal place. You're going to transfer the energy better. And then right at impact, you want to have more of that internal shoulder rotation. And all of that should equal more pop, probably 5 miles per hour at least, you know, on your shoulder. Maybe it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot these days. There's a lot. There's a lot of. I really want. I mean, I mentioned that, but I really like this. This is sort of foundational, so I would really try to get this first, and try not to be in here, and then you can kind of you can do lots of shadow. You can go to the gym and do like cables and bands. You can get a band and just kind of, you know, you can throw. You And just do, I would do everything very gentle at first. I would not go out there, like try not to just go out there and start, Wah! You're probably gonna do something wrong and you're gonna like torque your shoulder. Just be very careful. You want your shoulder to be healthy. You wanna be playing, 20 years from now, killing it in the 80s.
Absolutely. That's the goal. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to catch that. Better toss. Better. Do it again. Do the beginning part again. Don't hit it.
Just do the beginning?
Yeah, just do the beginning part. Ready? Freeze. Okay, better. I don't think you're normally there. I think you're normally. Do it again. This is great. I have the elbow, shoulder. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times you're kind of like, you're basically kind of like here, and nothing's really in a line.
More rotation.
Yeah, this whole thing here, and then as set back as you can here.
Yep. Cool.
When you're here, you could also, if it's helpful for you, you can think about maximally loading the back leg and hip. It's super important. So when your hand is in that far away position here, at that moment, this arm should be up. You should have a nice alignment. Elbow, shoulder. And at that moment, when you're here, you're maximally loading your back, leg, and hip. So there's a big load here happening. It's very, very important in the power position, and that's when this is far away. Now, when this starts to release, when you start coming out of this is going to chase. And what most people do, very common, most people, well, they don't load well, but if they do load, this starts to go in here, and then they go. So the key is you're back in here, you start to explode, you're basically transferring the energy from your legs up through your core into your upper body, and this is gonna chase. Sup, Mila? Right. So that was a lot of stuff, but I wanted you to link where this is.
Yeah.
So when you're here, go ahead, load. When you're here, you're also here. So
Okay.
these are connected elements.
Feel that.
Go, load. So anytime you're in this moment here, you're also loading here, and then the next instant, try to resist not doing that. Try to think legs
keep
and
this here.
then that.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
And the idea is that the push upward from the legs, this drive, this energy going upward from the legs is going to help to actually push the racket deeper down into external shoulder rotation, and that's going to add power. But if it is, and if you do it the other way, if you start putting it down and then go, you don't get that same the same effect from the physics of it. If you go, you're still going to serve good. You're just gonna leak. You're gonna leak a little bit of energy.
And then I want to snap that out this way.
Mark Kovacs calls that the long axis rotation. It's a combination of pronation and shoulder internal rotation together, and he just, in the literature, it's called long axis pronations, long axis rotation.
You get a lot more power.
Yeah. If I film that though, if you film that, you're gonna see that I think your elbow is about here.
Yeah.
And you'd really like to line this up
Over
and
here.
coil this whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't want to go too far, you don't want to go too far here. Sometimes that's called hyperangulation. You just want to be right here.
Okay.
You'd like not to be here.
Yeah. That's pretty.
That toss was right here. That's right here. This is a big power reduction.
Yeah.
Much better toss.
It's got time.
Much better toss. And you need to fly up there. You need to fly up there, slam dunk it. Good, sir. A lot of time, individually or as you're working on it, you probably want to toss. It's going to look like in your mind you'll say that's too far.
Oh, yeah.
I can't reach that.
Yeah.
And actually, you usually can. So you can with a better leg drive. So try to trick yourself and try to toss it pretty far. And then when your brain, the little voice in your head says, "I can't get that," you probably can. So just start from there. Yeah, no way. This is like you take a lot of power off the table here. No. Better, but you can go higher and more. You can go a little more, another 6 to 12 inches more forward. Yeah, right there. See? Yeah, it's really severe. You're serving. You're serving and finishing here.
Yeah, yeah.
Has to be the toss.
Yeah, that's the tough. I will work on this, Chris.
That toss is way better. And you really launch yourself like the pros do. You launch yourself up and in. Yeah. And what you're looking for, like on slow motion, you're looking for like a full. I do a lot of video analysis, so you're looking for a full stretch of the body from toes to your hand, and everything should be a straight line, and it will be tilted forward. So you wouldn't want to be vertical. You don't want to be back here, which is what happens with your toss. There's going to be a forward lean, but everything, it's a straight line up to that ball. Lower body and upper body. Okay, pretty good. Good serve.
I very rarely hit the wall after I bounce it, so there's something new to it.
It's a good serve.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I said, a lot of things. Yeah, you want to be back. You're going to have to keep rewiring this. You're going to be back in here. And then your legs are going to fire. And then this is, you're going down to, this is like your power loop here.
Yeah.
This is the max external rotation we were talking about. And you're going to come up and try to go palm out.
Yeah. Okay.
Be careful with your shoulder. Nice. That's great. That's great. That's great. Like that, you shadowed that very well. Keep that far away. Yeah. Good. You're going to start to do the legs, and then this is going to... What's really cool is you can get a lot of play back here. The more whip you can get in this area, it's going to give you extra external shoulder rotation. Then you're going to come up and then internally rotate. Yeah. This is you shadowed that very well. Right. Hold that down there. Keep that away. Like this is the dream. This is the dream, to be away, or down here, or anywhere, and then to come up and go. You don't do that. You're boxed up in here. You're bunched up in here. Right, like that was really pretty. Your serve doesn't look like that. But if whatever you see there on the video, that would be awesome. Just clean that thing up. You know. All right, that's what I think.
That's awesome.
Do the last couple or?
Yeah. On the kick serve, on my spin serve, same.
Kick serve, I don't know. Kick serve is going to be everything's the same. I've never seen you do a kick serve. You do it again. It's your elbows. Your elbows just in the wrong place. It's not in a good throwing position.
Same thing.
It's here. You go. It's probably like here, and then you just sort of just sort of dumps over.
Compared to getting it out here.
To be back in here or here. You reach back like you're throwing a ball.
All right.
Back here, and then that's what you want.
Yeah.
You're keep that space. Yeah, and then from here for the kick, you'll go there. You're gonna come up, be somewhere around here. You keep this big space. This is really hard to get because when a lot of times when you think you're here, you'll be here. Your brain thinks you're here, and it's a misjudgment. You know. Okay. Yeah, this is problematic because you come. But we may have had that on video. Maybe able to see that on video. You come and this stays straight. But this should be a snap. Go ahead, do it again. Swing. This should be. This should snap. Don't worry about that part.
Okay.
There's actually.
Snap down.
Yeah, this has like a. You're super locked here.
Okay.
Like you go up here.
Yeah.
This whole thing should be super whippy and loose. And you create this sort of like hangman here.
Okay. That's what I wanted.
Right, and there has to be a extension here.
Yeah.
This is flicky. Has to be flicky, and then you get into like this hangman. Jeff Salzenstein calls it the dirty diaper. It's really funny. It's a funny name, dirty diaper, and then you follow through. But you're going. Your whole arm's just staying. Like one, it just looks like a one straight unit. So there's no, and people ask me a lot, should you pronate here? I just had I think it was Andre's dad. He was asking me, should I focus on pronating here? And that's just I've never taught that, never helped me. I see some videos, people doing that.
So,
Go ahead from here again. Try one slowly with the ball. Just sort of like get the feeling of being, if you can see what my elbow's doing, and my wrist, and you brush, and this is just hanging there. Just do it slowly. Better. Can you finish with the elbow high? But just kind of I don't want to hurt anything in your shoulder because it's a new movement.
I think it'll be fine.
I'm gonna get back into here for the kick serve. Go ahead. Just go. And this has to bend a little. Something like that, maybe.
All right.
Do it again. Restart. Go.
Get that elbow.
The wrist has to be. The wrist also should be activated here.
So just finish like that.
Yeah. Yes, and then you'll do a normal follow through after, but not with the arm.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Let's go slowly. Right, something like that. Right. Hit one slowly. Easy. Yes, like so that one was better.
Yeah.
It had more of a release upward.
Sure.
This is you can call it tricep extension. It may be, Dr. Brian Gordon says it's mostly passive. Whether it's active or passive extension, there has to be this. So this is going to go up, and then sort of the after effect of that is this decelerates down with the high elbow. This is relaxed.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I've seen some pros who come out and they go a little more straighter and pronated here, but you know, for me the best way is like I'm showing. This is like I don't know if you remember like Stefan Edberg, one of the greatest kick servers of all time. Good example. Too straight. It was too. Yeah, it wasn't bent. Basically, that elbow should be bent, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I'll shadow that.
It's a tough one. Right. So you have some issues. The first serve, you're coming, and the second serve, you're not getting that nice upward snapping action. And then, I mean, this is also internal rotation. This is internal rotation without, it doesn't have the pronation aspect.
Yeah.
That I'm not as clear on. The dirty diaper is kind of this way. There must be a variation that has a little bit of that. I'll have to study the video to confirm that. Better. I would try to just be careful because you're gonna stop. I would try to stop and just sort of hang here.
Okay.
Just be very careful. Don't serve it hard. Just be careful with your shoulder. Right. I would try to get that. And you feel that where it's hanging there? Do it again. That was nice. Right. I would just try to get this and just, you know, be gentle. Don't start jamming things. This is a very new movement, and this is a delicate area of your shoulder. That was a good one.
Good.
Can I see one more? That was interesting.
Yeah.
There are examples of pros who serve like this. They're typically not the men. There are a lot of female servers who go. So I don't think it's optimal. So, but you can serve like that. You can serve relatively hard like that. As you know, you have a pretty good serve, and you're strong. It's definitely biomechanically optimal to get that. And on the kick serve, it's not. No, I don't think anyone's really. I don't think there's any studies on the kick serve. Like this is just from my experience and teaching it. It's typically like this feeling at the end. Hey Brian, how are you? Nice to see you. And this is an area I need to do a little more research myself on. Just watching. Like I wonder how many pros actually go here.
Yeah.
But I never teach that, so I can just share with you what I know.
Yeah.
I don't know any. I would never tell you to force you to do that on the kick serve. It may happen for some players. That's the one that I know, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what feels. I think that's where it's at. The interesting area of study. Good, and it should be bend here. Try to get that inverted. Do it slowly. You're good. And try to get this hanging, that like almost like a inverted hang here.
Okay.
See how the racket's down?
Yeah.
And not like that.
Yeah.
Now this is your shoulders rotating.
Mm-hmm.
This is relaxed, and then a lot of times after that, this will just scoop through.
Mm-hmm.
But there may be a few different variations. Like I mentioned, there may be another variation that I haven't studied, but this is the one that I teach. Little more, downward, nice. Regardless of regardless of that variation, you would never want to be. You don't want to be locked, and you don't go up locked and just. You see, like there's very little power in that. You go, and you know.
Yeah.
It's a little, right. Try to dangle it. Good try. Good. That's good. And then you can be back in here. Not like here.
Yeah, that's huge on both
In
sides.
here. Load up the back leg same time. Like these are connected. And I'm going up to the kick, and then I'm going to go. This movement, I used to always call it tricep extension, and Brian Gordon tried to convince me that it's not active tricep. I don't know if it's active or not, but it's extension, but it's snappy.
Yeah.
And then you go. Right. Easy, 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 easy. Right. You reach way back in there. There you go, way back into here. This is also like a key space. Like,
Okay.
depending on your mobility,
Keep that away from the body.
you're a little bit tight here.
Yeah.
You could do some good stretching back here, like with a towel.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Are you able to connect with your hand?
Not with my hands.
Let me see.
I don't think so. No, there's no way. No.
There's actually a fail on the functional movement screen. So if you did a functional movement screen, that would be a fail. Not to be able to get within. You want to be able. So this allows me to have a good kick serve, basically. Yeah. So maybe you're probably not a fail. You can get within have the different. But basically, you want to develop that scapular mobility.
Yeah.
So you can take your racket, and I like to take my racket and I pull it down. That's a great stretch. You pull it with use your left hand to pull it right down.
Okay.
And you could get a towel and do lots of towel. Other good scap stretches like this kind of
Okay.
with the towel or with your racket. Really nice. So but basically the more you can get range back here.
Do that again. Let me see how far you go back when you go back like that.
Yeah, I have good. I work on it. I work on it though.
Your hands are like this.
I work on it. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I work on it.
Yeah,
I do it like every day. But getting this too, I'm always working on this, because I know that if I can get down into here, I'm gonna get a big kick.
Yeah.
The more range here, and if I'm tighter, I don't get as much runway up.
Yeah.
So the more you can get down. If you do a lot of if you do a lot of lifting and you do a lot of pressing work, so anterior work, that often can lead to tightness in the posterior here in the scapular. So it's great to do lifting, but just try to combine it with some good scapular mobility, so you can,
I don't have that flexibility. I've got some, but not that. Well, that's great
well,
stuff.
you're doing great. I mean,
you. Wow.
you're fit and you're healthy, and you got a great game, and it's awesome that you want to compete.
I do.
I have a lot of respect for that. It's so much fun.
I really appreciate you
I'm
working
gonna
with me.
get out there when I'm old. I'm gonna join you out there and play doubles together.
Yeah.
Play on the senior.
100 plus.
Yeah,
They have one where you combine the ages.
that sounds like so much fun. I like your idea of the Florida circuit.
Yeah,
I would like to travel a little bit on the ITF. I like to go to go to Europe and.
Would you be doing the 40s?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't right now because I have the kids. So I'm hoping to get a couple of kids into college, and then maybe I have a little free time to train. I don't have time to train right now. Andre, you ready, buddy? Ready? Oh yeah. Yeah. How you doing? I'm not famous enough. No one knows I'm here right now. Joe found me, which is nice. Well, no, but I talked to many parents and they said we had no idea you're here.
Thank you.
Can you take a look?
Yeah.
You guys both want to come out?
That looks great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Thanks. Send me that.
I will.
That's cool. I can meet your friends too.
They'll be coming down. They're
They're-
not in my game.
Oh, they're not.
They're not
I
at
thought.
my level.
Oh,
No, they're below my level.
you're.
They're great athletes.
Uh-huh.
They're great athletes.
Ah, the basketball guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
They play Division I basketball.
Nice. Well, if I have a good athlete, I can build nice mechanics for them.
But I'll tell them before they come. You're going there to learn. You're not going there. You're going there.
I like doing serious stuff, serious coaching. I like teaching all ages though. I enjoy you know, I'm known for working with kids, but I like teaching adults. Like we have a good time, you know. And what's nice with adults is we get to have a little more in-depth conversation. Some of the kids don't care about some of the details.
I love it.
Yeah.